Hey, welcome to Econ-261 Principles of Statistics 1. First of all, I want to welcome you and thank you for taking this class. And I know a lot of you are taking the class because it is required for your degree, but I think you can also benefit from taking this class, and that's what this first video is all about. So, let's talk about some of the objectives or things that you should be ready to do after you're done with this class. So, a statistic is a way of thinking that can lead to better decision making. I know we don't think about this, but in reality, statistics can help you make better decisions in your life. So that's something you can take in mind. Also, statistics requires analytic skills, and it's an important part of your business education. So uh, after you're done with this class, you should be able to pick up some really good skills that can help you in your career. Recent developments such as the use of business analytics and big data have made knowing statistics even more critical. So, regardless of what type of job you're going to do, uh, knowing some of these facts and what those data means will help you in your career. And the DCOVA framework guides your application of statistics. So we'll talk about what that DCOVA is later in this introduction. And finally, the opportunity business analytics represents for business students. So you're a business student, and I understand that all of you are uh, can also help you with the statistics. So one thing you're gonna need to realize is that the world is changing and it's changing really fast. You know, we can see now from people using cryptocurrencies to, all the data that is available there. There are so many changes. So more the information technology will allow you to business to apply statistics in new ways to solve business problems utilizing vast amount of summarized, unsummarized numerical and non-numerical data software to perform calculations. So nowadays you should be able to have all of those data and know what it means, be able to manipulate it so you can get the results that you want and be able to understand what those huge amounts of data are. Also, statistics are the methods that allow people to effectively work with data. Business statistics provide a formal basis to summarize and visualize business data, reach conclusions from business data, make reliable predictions about business activities, improve business processes. So this is something that you need to be familiar with and be able to utilize the statistics for that. So here is the DCOVA method. So what is the DCOVA? Basically, you start with the D, that means define. So you define the data you want to study to solve a problem or meet an objective. That's obviously that is going to be the first step, figuring it out, basically what data you're going to using. C stands for collect. Once you know which data you're going to use, you need to collect the data, obviously. O stands for organize. So once you have the data and you have collected it, you can organize it so to figure out what tables you need to use and how you're going to use that data. The V stands for visualize, so the data collected by developing charts. So this is where you're going to grab and put those in a pie chart or a scatter plot, whatever chart best fit what you are trying to present. And finally, the A stands for analyze, so the data you collected to reach conclusions and present those results. So obviously, at the end of the day, what you want to do is be able to convince people that to do a project, for example, and or to invest on something to convince them whatever you need to do, and that's what you're going to present the data. You present your conclusions, and you're going to tell people what you are trying to achieve with the data. So what you're going to notice is statistic, like every other branch of branch that you will be studying is basically evolving. So businesses can use the vast amount of data available. Before we had to do a lot of calculations by computer, I mean by hand or by calculator, and it was really difficult. Nowadays, all you gotta do is know what data to use. You plug it in into Excel or into any other program, and the program gives you pretty much all the data that you need. So the emerging field of business analytics combines methods like statistics, information systems, management science, all of those kind of converge into one area. And you can use all of those to support fact-based decision making. We also see the growth of big data and unstructured data is changing the way we work with data. This couldn't be more true because nowadays, in the past, the problem is that we didn't have enough data. Now the problem is, well, we have too much data. So we have this huge amount of data that you have to be able to manipulate, you have to be able to control, you have to be able to sort it out, and it's changing very very fast. And things that were accurate, last month might not be accurate nowadays. So uh, things are changing really fast. And you have the unstructured data. So basically, this is data that has no specific structure and has little or no repeating internal structure. And what you're going to find out about this data is that usually requires that you uh, be able to pre-process it before you can analyze it. So, is this data accurate? Is this data really represents what I'm trying to do? Because there might be too much data, and it can take definitely many forms. It can be text, pictures, videos, audio tracks, so many other things that we can classify as unstructured data. So we do have the variable. So what is a variable? And you're going to see this throughout the semester. Variable basically is a characteristic of property of an item or individual. That's all it is. So for example, a variable could be, uh, people that has black hair. That would be a characteristic, right? Data is the set of values associated with one or more variables. So once you collect those variables, then you have your data. And finally, statistic is a value that summarizes the data of a particular variable. Descriptive statistic is the methods that primarily help you summarize and present data. So you're going to notice once you go to Excel or any other that you want descriptive statistics, and it's going to give you all that information there. And basically, those are the methods, the formulas that you're using to summarize and present the data. So you get the mean, you get the standard deviation, and all other descriptive statistics. Inferential statistics, on the other hand, are the methods that use data collected from a small group to reach a conclusion about a larger group. So, for example, you want to figure out uh, a percentage of people that would like to eat hamburgers. So, you're not going to go and interview everybody in the state of Nevada, for example. So, you pick a few people to do inference about the entire population in the state of Nevada. And that's what inferential statistics is, selecting a small group to do your study, and then you make conclusion based on what you find out on the small group. Can statistics lie? Have you ever asked that question? Sometimes you see these statistics, say, there is no way that could be true. For example, in commercials, right, you say, oh, 9 out of 10 doctors recommend that you use this specific type of toothbrush. And you say, is that a statistic even true? So this is something you need to keep in mind that could be faulty or invalid statistics that can be produced if there is willful misuse or any tasks in the DCOVA framework are applied incorrectly. So a lot of those commercials that say, 9 out of 10 doctors recommend that you use this toothbrush, right? What they don't tell you is that those 9 doctors that recommended it actually work for the manufacturer. So this is obviously a misuse or misrepresentation of the data. Or if you are not applying the DCOVA framework that we just talked about it, what you're going to see is that many statistic methods are valid only if the data being analyzed have certain properties. For inferential methods, you should always look for logical causality. This is something obviously that you need to keep in mind. And finally, Remember, relation does not mean causation. So just because two things are related, that doesn't mean that one is cause for the other. So for the book that we're using, the using statistics scenario at the beginning and end of each chapter provide what you're going to see a real business situation that the chapter topic can help address, context, which is an important part of the learning process, and throughout each chapter, you will find the Excel, the JMP, and the Minitab solutions to example problems. So this will help you make sure that you understand uh, those problems and know how to solve them. Several case studies provide that you can also apply what you have learned and enhance your analytical and communication skills. So the book is really good. It gives you the opportunity to practice and make sure that you are doing the problems correctly. Finally, we do have the software in the statistics. Software is using statistics to assist you in applying statistic methods. This book covers the use of three software packages, the JMP, which is a dedicated statistical analysis package, the Minitab, a dedicated statistical analysis package, and Microsoft Excel. So I personally recommend using Microsoft Excel just because everybody is used with the Office suite of tools. So using Excel is very easy and convenient. Uh, I, I'll recommend using Microsoft Excel myself. But any of these software packages can be used to learn and practice the statistical methods on this book. So again, you don't have to use one or the other. You can use any one. It doesn't matter, um, whichever you feel more comfortable using. There are some basic computer skills that you need to use for this class and for the book. So you should be able to identify and use the standard Windows objects. Again, like title bar, minimize, all of these things are just basic stuff that the book and myself imply that you already know and you are familiar with. You should be able to identify and use common dialog boxes like the command button, list box, drop down, list, edit, all of those things. Again, the book and myself, I assume that you're familiar with that. If you're not, feel free to reach out and I'll be more than willing to help you with that. Mouse operations, click, call, select, and some list or menu context, and check and clear in some checkbox context. Double click, right click, all of that stuff. This is just basic computer skills that you already have. Okay, so to wrap things up, we've seen that a statistic is a way of thinking that can lead to better decision making, requires analytic skills, and is an important part of your business education. Recent developments, such as the use of business analytics and big data, have made knowing statistics even more critical. So again, even if you're not a business major, um, statistics can definitely help you. And the DCOBA framework guides your application of statistics. And finally, the opportunity business analytics represents for business students. So with that said, good luck in this semester. And if you need any help, don't hesitate to reach out.